Tonight on YCN News, the new London Barn Playhouse offers up a new performance. We've got an inside look at their new show. Mount Ascutney Hospital in Windsor, Vermont is on track for a higher profit margin in 2016. And we talk to another local high school athletic director, this time from Newport. For more news, weather, and sports, stay tuned for YCN News, bringing you your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, southern Vermont, and Windsor County. News, sports, weather, and all that is happening in our area. The news on YCN, your local view.
Good evening, everyone. It is Thursday, August 6th. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Kurt Weedy, and welcome to another installment of YCN News. We start tonight with a political partnership. A pair of U.S. senators are teaming up on a bipartisan effort on legislation that would hold colleges more accountable for pinning students with overwhelming student debt. New Hampshire Democratic Senator Jeanne Shaheen, along with Utah Republican Senator Orrin Hatch, introduced the Student Protection and Success Act just today to address the nation's 40% dropout rate at four-year institutions and a federal student loan default that amounts to well over $100 billion. Now, currently, the Granite State holds the nation's highest average student loan debt at more than $30,000. Now, while introducing this bill, Shaheen said that it would weed out poorly performing institutions that are good at getting students to enroll, but exceptionally poor at preparing students for the workforce. And speaking of higher education, the Mount Washington College Board of Trustees announced earlier this week that the school will be shutting its doors by spring of 2016. This is a situation not unfamiliar to Upper Valley students and faculty of the now closed Lebanon College. Several factors did contribute to the decision to close the Manchester, New Hampshire institution, which was formerly known as Hesser College, including declining enrollment over the last several years. Ronald Byron was president of the Lebanon College when it stopped offering courses in the fall of 2014. He told YCN News that the Lebanon and Mount Washington colleges offered an environment for adult learners as well that has reduced the brick and mortar classrooms that so many students of all ages need. Byron added that we need to pay more attention to strict, affordable education opportunities while providing all faculty members with the resources they need. Well, across the river in Vermont, there's a new member of Governor Peter Shumlin's administration. In a press release yesterday, Governor Peter Shumlin and Agency of Natural Resources Secretary Deb Markowitz announced that Waterbury Representative Rebecca Ellis will join the Department of Environmental Conservation as Senior Counsel for Government Affairs. She starts on August 10th. Ellis resigned her seat as state representative for the Washington-Chittenden District just yesterday. Governor Shumlin will appoint a replacement before the start of the next legislative session beginning in January. Ellis had served as a legislator since 2011, most recently as vice chair of the House Natural Resources and Energy Committee. Prior to her tenure in the Vermont legislature, Ellis worked from 1997 to 2011 as an assistant attorney general for the state of Vermont. There, her practice focused on environmental issues. Well, the summer theater season is in full swing in New London, New Hampshire. The New London Barn Playhouse is the oldest continuously running summer stock theater in the entire state. And yes, it's right here in our region. YCN's Lynn Solomon spoke to one of the Barn's actresses about their current performance, Steel Magnolias, which debuted just yesterday. Lynn?
Lynn Solomon coming to you from the New London Barn Playhouse, and I have just had the delight to sit through another fabulous show. This one's only here for 1 week, only until August 9th. It's Steel Magnolias. Some of you may remember the movie from 1989 with the young Julia Roberts in it. Sally Field is also in that show. This is an absolutely fabulous show. 90% laughing, 10% crying. It's just tremendous performances from 6 really great actresses. Great story of love and friendship throughout the ages and what ladies do to keep each other going. So I really highly recommend it, but it only is for 1 week. We're very lucky to be joined now by Emma Rose Brooks. She plays the character of Annelle. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
A lot of our audience will recognize you from last year. Talk a little bit about your role here last year.
Yes, well, last year I was actually offered the role of Petra in A Little Night Music, which was a lot of fun. And Carol Dunn also starred in that as well, which was absolutely an amazing experience for everyone a part of the company. It was very fun.
We're very lucky to have Carol here.
Oh, yes.
She's wonderful. Now, but you're a local girl too. You're from Queechee-Vermont, aren't you?
I am, yeah. My parents just saw the show today, and they're very happy for me to be back.
Yeah.
I think they're actually more excited for me to be back here than everyone else is.
I'm sure. Well, this is such a great story of motherhood and love. I'm sure your mom's glad to have you back.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Well, now your character of Annelle, we were talking a little bit off camera, has the most dramatic change throughout. That requires a lot of acting chops.
Yeah,
How was it?
It's very interesting. She has a huge change emotionally and physically when it comes to her personal story and her religious views, and physically, as people will find out in the show. And it was very different, very challenging, but I always loved those kind of challenging parts. It was a lot of fun.
Well, you did an absolutely wonderful performance. We recommend anybody to come see this show, only till August 9th, so they have to hurry up. So very good. Well, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Take care.
For full information and a list of upcoming shows at the New London Barn Playhouse, you can go to nlbarn.org. Lynn will also have a look at their next play, The Mystery of Edwin Drood, once it hits the stage on August 12th. Well, after the break on YCN News, with the GOP debate kicking off tonight, we've got some viewing parties happening in our area. We've got some details on where they are and when you can catch them. That's after the break.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News, everyone. Thank you for staying with us on this Thursday night. I'm Kurt Weedy. Well, for the first time in 2 years, the Mount Ascutney Hospital and Health Center in Windsor, Vermont is projecting a profitable fiscal year, although a small one at that. Since 2014, the 25-bed facility has reported losses in healthcare operations. But according to projections filed last month with Vermont's Green Mountain Care Board, the hospital is slated to turn a 0.1% profit for the 2016 fiscal year. Mount Ascutney Hospital became an official affiliate of Dartmouth-Hitchcock in 2014 after paying $2.5 million for management and other services. Mount Ascutney Chief Financial Officer David Sandville, who is an employee of Dartmouth-Hitchcock, said in a letter to the Care Board that the projection reflects the reality of the community services we provide as part of our mission, the healthcare environment we function in, and the communities we serve. Now, continuing on a health note, if you are planning to hit the Appalachian Trail this weekend, whether for a short jaunt or the entire 2,000-mile trek, you may want to bring your own water or prepare to filter any water you collect in the wild. The Appalachian Trail Conservancy, the group which maintains and oversees the trails, has reported that hikers in northern New Hampshire and parts of Maine have complained of sickness, including the stomach bug and diarrhea. Now, it is believed that these symptoms are the result of contaminated water along parts of the trail, and hikers are being reminded to thoroughly filter or boil any natural water before drinking. Norovirus is an ailment with those symptoms that can affect hikers on the trail, but these hikers did not test positive to having this virus. For more information on trail safety updates and, well, basically everything related to the Appalachian Trail, visit the Conservancy's website at www.appalachiantrail.org. Well, after the New Hampshire Executive Council voted yesterday along party lines against state contracts, Governor Maggie Hassan is fighting back. She responded by stating that Planned Parenthood provides critical primary and preventive health care services to thousands of New Hampshire women, including cancer screenings, birth control, and sexually transmitted disease testing. She did add that access to these services is essential to the economic security and vitality of our families statewide, and she was incredibly disappointed in the outcome of this vote. The governor added that Planned Parenthood of Northern New England has helped thousands of women and families access much-needed health care. She finally noted that she will continue to fight for these services and their beneficial effects on the lives of so many in her state. Well, more than $2 million is on the way to Vermont from the nation's capital to help clean up toxic land. The Environmental Protection Agency announced just this week that it's awarding grants to communities and nonprofits working to assess, clean up, and then redevelop sites known as brownfields. Now, a brownfield, for those who haven't heard the term before, is any plot of land where reuse or redevelopment is hindered by any pollutants or contaminants that exist on that property. Brattleboro and planning commissions in Lamoille County and central Vermont are among those getting nearly $500 million in grants. Also, Bellows Falls, Springfield, and Richmond are joining a state program to revitalize brownfields in their communities. And finally, tonight is the night we've all been waiting for. Well, at least those following the Republican side of the presidential campaign so far. At 9 o'clock tonight Eastern Time, Fox News will be airing the GOP debate from Cleveland, Ohio over television and online. No doubt eyes across the nation will be glued to the television as the candidates face off, whether it be at home or at a viewing party. Speaking of which, we have multiple viewing parties happening in our area tonight to watch the live event, including a debate watch party hosted by Trump for President. This one is being held at 9 to 10:30 tonight at the Imperial Lounge on Washington Street in Claremont, New Hampshire. Now, additionally, for those who support New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, there is a viewing party in Sunapee, hosted by the Sullivan County Republican Committee at 1 Mile West. That one begins at 8:30 p.m. Now, if you can't catch the debate on TV, Fox News is offering an online stream on their website or mobile app, but both require a cable subscription to do so. If you don't have one, you can of course follow Twitter, Facebook, or any live blogs to catch the latest updates as the debate progresses tonight. Well, coming up next on YCN News, Elizabeth Durazio of the River Valley Chronicle sat down and spoke with Liz Verney of the Upper Valley Haven. Today's topic is a golf tournament to benefit the Haven. We'll have that conversation for you after the break, so please don't go anywhere.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Mike Pizzone. Well, it was hard to find anything to complain about weather-wise today, and it looks like things will be equally as nice as we head into the weekend. Skies will remain partly cloudy this evening with winds of up to 5 miles per hour and temperatures bottoming out at about 54 degrees. Tomorrow will begin with areas of patchy fog until about 8 a.m. before a mostly sunny day otherwise with temperatures maxing out at around 75 degrees. We'll cool back down to a nice comfortable 56 degrees tomorrow evening before another bright sunny day on Saturday with a high of 76 during the day and a low of around 58 degrees Saturday evening. Now let's take a look at our community calendar to find out what's happening in the area. Both Newport, New Hampshire and Bellows Falls, Vermont will host their weekly farmers markets tomorrow, with Newport's taking place on the town commons from 3 to 6 p.m. and Bellows Falls happening right downtown on Canal Street from 4 to 7 p.m. Both markets will be held rain or shine. A family karaoke night will be held at the Bellows Falls Moose Center on Westminster Street in Bellows Falls, Vermont tomorrow night from 7 to 11 p.m. All are welcome to attend and food will be available. Call the number on the screen to find out more. And finally, the 82nd Annual League of New Hampshire Craftsmen's Fair will continue through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Mount Sunapee Resort in Newbury, New Hampshire. Cost is $12 for adults, $10 for seniors and students, and free for children under 12. Earlier this week, we brought you an exclusive interview with Stevens High School's newest athletic director in Doug Beaupre. So today I headed over to Newport High School to speak with Beaupre's successor, Jeff Miller, to see how he's adjusting to his new position.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I haven't even thought about school opening. I'm thinking about next Wednesday is the first day for football and spirit, and I can't wait to see kids out practicing and just go to practices as the athletic director and be there in case the coaches need something or one of the athletes. You know, that'll be a new experience for me. I've been on that end as a coach, and I've been on that end from the newspaper business where you go and you watch. Here I can just go and watch, and you know, I can you know, people would call that part work, but that's really not work. I mean, that's, to me, that's the fun part.
I also asked if he's been in much contact with Doug Beaupre, who left Newport to become the athletic director at rival Stevens earlier this summer.
Doug is pretty much on speed dial, and we've pretty much been meeting once a week about stuff, or I call him or text him. You know, I mean, we had grown close over the years from when I was in the newspaper business. I knew him as the AD and a coach, and then it just, you know, continued and grew even more in the 5 years I've been here as a coach for him. And, you know, frankly, it's a system. You know, I was talking with Bill Thurlow, who's a legend here, the other night. He's been here for, you know, since 1966 as a teacher and a coach, and, you know, he was the AD prior to Doug for a couple of years. And there are some things that we did, you know, systems that are set up that Doug said, you know, this is just stuff I took from Bill Thurlow, and he said that Bill told him that this is stuff that had been going on for, you know, decades, you know, before he took over. So, Doug left things in a very good state, you know, and there's a lot of things that, you know, certainly the old adage, if it ain't broke, you don't need to fix it, and that's the way it is.
And on the baseball field, the New Hampshire Fisher Cats suffered its third straight loss last night by way of a 3-2 defeat at the hands of the Richmond Flying Squirrels. The Cats will round out their 3-game series in Richmond tonight at 7. That's been your look at local sports. I'm Mike Pizzone.
Thanks, Mike. After the break, we'll round out this week's Capital Connections with members of the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen. Today brings the second and final part of Executive Director Jane O'Neill's conversation with host John O'Connor. Don't touch that remote. We'll be right back.
The YCN News continues in a moment.